The United States just rewrote the rules of immigration in 2025. While many thought these changes were simply bureaucratic updates, the impact has shocked millions, especially in Asia. Behind closed doors in Washington, a shift was brewing. New visa restrictions, tighter screenings, and even whispers of entire countries being blacklisted. For the first time, immigration decisions weren't just about paperwork. They were political, emotional, and deeply personal. Families have been left stranded. Students, hopeful workers, and asylum seekers, all waiting for answers. From the refugee camps of Myanmar to the bustling neighborhoods of Lahore, fear has spread like wildfire. What's really happening? Is the US truly banning these countries? Or is there a more complex, painful story beneath the headlines? Guess the #1 country facing the harshest US visa crackdown. Is it Pakistan, Myanmar, or a surprise you didn't expect? Drop your guess in the comments. We'll reveal the answer later in this video. Because today, we're diving into 5 Asian nations caught in the crossfire of America's immigration overhaul, backed by real data, real stories, and real consequences. Before we continue, just a reminder, everything you're hearing in this video isn't just opinion or assumption. These are real events, backed by verified news sources, government data, and official statements. If you want to read them yourself, I've included the links in the description and pinned comment below this video. Country 1. Pakistan. In March 2025, global headlines erupted with a controversial leak. The US was allegedly planning to restrict immigration from Pakistan. Social media exploded. For many, it was déjà vu, another Muslim ban in disguise. But what really happened? According to Reuters, while President Trump's administration was reportedly considering such a move, no formal ban was enacted. Instead, the US targeted individuals tied to migrant smuggling networks, not entire populations. Yet, on the ground in Pakistan, the fear was real. In Islamabad, US embassy lines grew quieter. A 24-year-old student named Ahsan, accepted into a US university, told Dawn News, "I had my dream in my hands." And then, it disappeared with a single visa rejection. In 2023 alone, over 11,000 Pakistan-born individuals were granted green cards, according to DHS data, showing no blanket ban. But 2025 saw visa refusal rates rise, particularly for tourist and student categories. Experts argue this was more about vetting than exclusion, but for those stuck in limbo, the nuance didn't matter. Secretary Marco Rubio clarified in May 2025 that visa actions would focus only on those complicit in undermining democracy or violating US laws. That said, the psychological toll was already done. Pakistan may not be banned on paper, but in the hearts of many, America suddenly felt much farther away. Country 2. Myanmar, Burma. For Myanmar, the ban was never loudly declared. It was silently felt. After the military junta seized control in 2021, Myanmar spiraled into chaos. By 2025, the US had already imposed economic sanctions and targeted visa bans on top military leaders. But in leaked drafts from early 2025, as reported by the New York Times, Myanmar appeared in a partial suspension tier for immigration, prompting fears of a broader freeze. Refugees fleeing Myanmar's ethnic conflicts, especially the Rohingya, found themselves trapped in bureaucratic no man's land. U.S. green card data for fiscal year 2023 shows 3,970 Myanmar-born immigrants were granted permanent residency. But in 2025, reports emerged of delays and unexplained visa denials for families waiting years for reunification. The message from Washington was clear: scrutiny had intensified. One unnamed refugee told Al Jazeera, We lost our home to the military. Now we're losing our chance to start again. While there is no formal countrywide ban, immigration experts say the U.S. shift towards stricter vetting has disproportionately affected nations like Myanmar, where conflict clouds identity and security screening becomes complicated. For thousands fleeing terror, that nuance could mean the difference between safety and silence. Country 3. Laos. Laos is a country rarely making international headlines, but in 2025, it quietly appeared in leaked review lists circulating U.S. policy circles. According to Foreign Policy magazine, Laos was flagged for its lack of cooperation on identity verification and border control transparency. Though no law was passed to block Laotians, U.S. visa officers were instructed to exercise extreme scrutiny, especially for new applicants. Statistically, the numbers remained small. Just 730 Laos-born individuals received green cards in 2023, according to DHS data. But those few stories are powerful. Mai, a 60-year-old Hmong American in California, waited 2 years to bring her cousin from Vientiane. In 2025, their petition was suddenly stalled. They said the documents weren't enough, but how can we get more when the government doesn't issue better IDs? She asked in a local CBS interview. The State Department hasn't publicly blacklisted Laos, but the internal atmosphere has changed. For the Laotian diaspora, already scarred by the trauma of post-Vietnam War displacement, the sense of being watched harder felt like another exile. It's not a ban, but it's a shadow heavy enough to be feared. Country 4. Bhutan. Tiny, peaceful Bhutan, known for its gross national happiness, is an unlikely name on any U.S. immigration blacklist. Yet in early 2025, leaked State Department documents reportedly included Bhutan on a draft list of countries under compliance review. What did that mean? Not a ban, but an audit. Washington wanted assurances about Bhutan's document transparency, criminal background checks, and repatriation agreements. Only 210 Bhutan-born individuals received U.S. green cards in 2023. So, why the scrutiny? Experts suggest it's less about Bhutan itself and more about ethnic Nepali refugees resettled from Bhutan through third-party nations like Nepal. Cases of identity confusion and falsified refugee paperwork reportedly triggered concern among U.S. border officials. No public ban was ever declared. In fact, the U.S. has praised Bhutan in other diplomatic areas, but the whispers have had impact. A Bhutanese applicant told VOA News, "We followed every rule, but suddenly our embassy told us there was a temporary hold, with no timeline." In immigration, sometimes silence is louder than a no. Bhutan wasn't banned, but it was quietly benched. Country 5. Yemen. Yemen's place in U.S. immigration policy is a paradox. While rumors swirled of a ban in 2025, the Department of Homeland Security actually extended Yemen's Temporary Protected Status, TPS, until March 2026, a humanitarian lifeline for thousands. But here's the twist. New visa applications from Yemen still faced extreme scrutiny. So, while existing Yemenis were protected, newcomers found the gates nearly shut. Over 5,580 Yemen-born individuals received green cards in 2023. But in 2025, refugee admission for Yemenis dipped sharply, despite the worsening civil war. Advocacy groups cited silent denial patterns, where no law was changed, yet cases stalled indefinitely. U.S. officials denied any ban, but confirmed security vetting remains especially complex due to unstable governance and document fraud risks. An immigration attorney in Michigan summed it up best. Yemen is not banned. It's just functionally unreachable. The irony is haunting. A country at war, citizens unable to return, and a promised land that feels just out of reach. Yemen is the clearest example of America's 2025 immigration shift, humanitarian in language, restrictive in practice. So, were 5 Asian countries banned under U.S. immigration rules in 2025? Not officially, not in black and white legal terms, but in the lived experiences of students, refugees, and families, the lines blurred. The new American policy wasn't a door slammed shut. It was a door left slightly ajar, but guarded by fear, suspicion, and silence. Sometimes immigration laws aren't defined by the words written in policy, but by the stories of those denied. As we wrap up this journey across 5 Asian nations, remember, numbers may be low, but emotions are high. Behind every rejected visa lies a shattered dream, a lost reunion, a paused future. Which country surprised you the most? Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the Discovery Trail for more deeply researched, human-driven stories from around the world.